Hello everybody, Dagmar Bryant, Mindset and Transformational Coach, coming to you today to talk about mindset and problems. Everybody has a problem, or should I say they're bound to have a problem. If you don't have a problem, then I congratulate you. I think it's wonderful, and this video probably won't be for you at this time, but maybe come back to it another day. But today I want to talk about how we tackle problems. We all know the situation where somebody says to us, you did this, you did that, or you didn't do this, and tries to blame a problem onto us, or we can see it when it happens to somebody else. And when that's happening to us, I would suggest that what we really need to do is analyze the problem and be truthful with yourself. Is this really me? Or is there something else going on? When we start to realize that a problem has many layers and that it's not always just us, then we can try and work through it. And even if we do realize that, oh, look, maybe I really am the problem here, it's actually easier because we realize that we are the problem and we can do something about it. Let me give you an example. This happened in my workplace many years ago, and I was working for the managing director and the Asia Pacific HR director, and I thought I was entitled to a pay rise, and it was performance review time. And I had said to my boss, you have your one-to-one meeting, because I had a good review. I said, I wanted to talk to you about a pay rise. And at that time, I hadn't been in the company too long, maybe about 2 years. And he said, well, I've actually done all the budgets for the pays and the salaries. But do come back to me next year with suitable proof, substantiating why you think you deserve a pay rise. And we'll have a chat about it then. Oh, okay, that's fine. So in this instance, I knew that I wasn't really well prepared. Move forward 11 months, not quite 12 months, I started doing a lot of research into what I believed my job at that level was worth. And I went on to one of the job sites, downloaded similar jobs, not in exactly the same area, because I don't think there were any, but in areas very similar. And when it came to having a discussion, this was before the performance review, I set up a meeting with my boss and I said, well, I'd like to talk to you about that pay rise because we were in this spot, 11 months ago, like to have a chat to you. And he just got the colour, I could see it draining from his face because I had all the paperwork substantiating why I thought I deserved a more significant pay rise than perhaps he was expecting. And he didn't have a comeback. Now, I didn't get the pay rise that I was expecting, but do you see how the initial problem was that I wasn't prepared? The second time around, I was prepared, and I realized it wasn't me. It was just that he basically thought he didn't want to give the job as much salary as he thought it was worth. So see how the problem changed from me to what was going on with him or within the organization. Tell you a funny turnaround with that. I left that organisation probably about 2 years after that event, and I left on really good terms actually because I was still going out for coffee and meeting some of the other girls in the office. And this one time I came into the office and the HR manager called me in and he said, come on Dagmar, let's have a quick chat before we go out. And he says, guess what? Your old job. He says, it's vacant. He said, since you left, they haven't had quite as effective people. And he says, name your price. I thought, oh, how funny is this? And I ended up going in and speaking to my old boss. And the funny thing was I had gone into a different place because I was working in my own business and establishing myself. And I had to politely decline and say, look, I'm just in a different space now. Thank you, for considering me, but I won't be able to take it up. But see how things had turned around in a period of time. And I say to you, everything that goes around comes around. When you are dealing with problems, especially when someone is saying to you, this is you, or this is not you, if you know what I mean, then really try and knuckle down to see what is going on. We know that with most situations, it's never one thing. And as I said earlier, there are bound to be layers. So take yourself out of the equation, or at least take the emotion out of the equation or the problem that you're dealing with, and look at it very analytically and say to yourself, what is really going on here, and how could I perhaps be doing better? And once you've established that, you get such a different perspective, and it shifts your mindset into being able to cope and deal with the problem in a much more positive way. I hope I've given you some positive solutions for some problem solving and ways of looking at problems, that they're not just all about us, but often that there are other things going on that we do need to factor in, that we do need to consider. Tell me some of your stories about problems where you may have had people saying things to you that affected a particular situation. How did you deal with it? Did you have a good outcome? Tell me, and I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to like and share if you know anyone would benefit from this particular video. Thanks, guys. Talk to you again tomorrow.